Hello and welcome back to High Traffic Ideas here in the Gale Force studio. I want to thank you for joining me. We're back. It's been a little bit. I apologize for how long it's been. We're going to try to get on to getting some consistency with these videos going up. We've got some guests lined up. I definitely have some new ideas of different things that I want to be able to share with you. That's starting with today. But again, I want to thank you for joining me. We are here to kind of help you come up with the best high traffic ideas for your small business, for your side hustle, to help you get out of that 9 to 5 rat race if you feel like you can't get out. I want you to be able to take some of these ideas, use them for your projects, and be able to start thriving versus just trying to survive. Again, if you have any podcast ideas or if you want to be able to do this, but just don't know how and you need help setting up, please reach out. My email is down here in the bottom. We can definitely help you get you going and kind of give you a framework. If it is you have your own small business, whether it's a tint shop, and I've talked about before, bringing back talking film, and being able to give you a platform in order to share and talk about your products, your services, the different things that you offer, what separates you from the competitors, and be able to then take that long form video and be able to cut it up into clips and use it for your social media. One half an hour video session can give you up to 40 or 50 clips, which you can use for a couple of months. So think about that. If it's something where you want to reach out, please do. I want to be able to help you kind of take over the content that you're kind of creating and give you other ways to kind of distribute and come up with different ways versus just filming things, whether it's in your tint shop, whether it's in your law firm, whatever it might be. I want to be able to kind of help give you those different options for you. With all of that being said, I want to break into something new that I've decided to give and share with everybody. Over the last few weeks, I have gone and I've started to save different things in my algorithm on the High Traffic Ideas Instagram page. This is something I think is beneficial for a lot of people. Obviously, we all have different algorithms, but this is a way for me to kind of share the different things that keep showing up that I think many small businesses, many medium to large size businesses may not be aware of that's happening outside. And a lot of these are dealing with AI. Just because AI is happening so fast, and even with some of these that might be a few weeks old, and I'm not saying that they're already irrelevant, but I definitely think that because AI is changing so fast, the news keeps coming out, it's hard to keep up with all of it. So my plan is to every week kind of break into one of these 20-minute sessions and be able to share what I have found across my algorithm to give you guys an idea. It also gives you a chance to find these other creators or accounts that are sharing this information. And if it's something that for whatever reason kind of hits a chord with you and you want to be able to learn more, you have the ability to kind of just go and search the names that are on here and find out what they're talking about. As I'm looking at my screen over here, I'm realizing that some of these names might be hard to see. So you'll have to reach out if you're looking to have me share some of those. Hit me up at High Traffic Ideas on Instagram, as well as many other platforms as well. We want to make sure that I'm helping you find these places, learn this information, and be able to have you be more educated about what is out there. So let's get started. I will just drop this as my high traffic idea. It is brought to you by the AI Magnet. It is a new website I have built for people if you don't want to pay for a marketing agency to kind of create your own blogs and you're looking to have the ability to kind of create more organic content. We have talked about that a lot over the last few episodes. You need to be able to talk about the issues that you solve and be able to put those in blog form, as well as social media and everything else. But this is a great tool to use to create your own blogs. And There's different packages as far as however many that you want to build. There's a free program if you only want to do a couple a month. But this gives you the opportunity to kind of create these hyper custom blog pieces for your business, which I think is very important for a lot of small side hustles, small businesses. If you don't have the budget to kind of go out and hire an agency, this gives you kind of that opportunity to be able to spend a limited amount of money, but still get all of those things. And why is this something that's better than just going on the Chat GPT or going on the Claude and doing it yourself? Because one, I have been doing these blogs for at least the last 4 or 5 years. And I'm also fully aware of how to make sure that these are ticking all of the boxes that Google is wanting to find as far as SEO. We use rank math kind of tools built into this as well. With the higher ed program, you get a photo, you get social media packages, but with all of the blog setups, you get the full SEO package. It is something that we have shown in the last few episodes about the meta description, the tags, the headlines, the SEO title. All of those things are super important to you being able to be found through Google. Not only taking those things, if you're not already, being aware that you need to index your site. And so once your site is indexed, Google is routinely checking on the fresh content that you're building. And this is a great way to make sure that you're optimizing all of that stuff as well. So I will now get into what I originally talked about. I didn't mean to kind of blow up that commercial, but that's what we're going to do. So again, these are all social posts that I have found and felt these are very important. I have probably reshared some of them or posted them on my story, but I felt these ones are so important that I think people need to be aware of these because one, they're going to save you time. Just like I said before, if this is something where you don't feel you have the money to kind of go and get an agency to do these things, you need to know where to do these tools so that you can maximize the 2-3 hours you have at the end of the night after working your 8, 9, 10 hour shift to be able to maximize your marketing efforts. All right, so let's get into this. I've got this new setup here. So this is something, excuse me, battling a cold, and I apologize for my sore throat. So ignore Mr. Beast if he's somebody who bothers you. This is set up to kind of discuss what Gemini is now doing. It's titled Video Editors Won't Like This. Gemini just killed wasted editing hours. So this gives you, if you head to this is from, let's see if I can highlight it up here. alamin.8020AI. Go and follow him if you're interested in the post that he's doing. So this was essentially about Claude and how you can use, I believe it's Claude code to be able to do some of these. And let's see if I can make this any bigger. I thought that doesn't appear that there's any text with this, but it gives you these different prompts to use. I have used Claude Cowork to edit some of my videos. It adds captions, it does everything. The only issue is that you're going to have to work at it because somebody like me who's definitely used a lot of different AI software platforms, I've been accustomed to them being able to give me really good captions. And that was one of the things when I used this, it was able to clip up probably about 50 clips from about a half an hour, 40-minute podcast episode. Excuse me, I'm battling this hard. You mute. So there's a few different prompts that it's asking you to kind of create and do different timing, cuts, color grading, sound design on this one with a particular topic or link. This works great, especially with YouTube videos where you'll take and copy that link and then post that into your prompt so that it can go and grab it versus dropping in that full video file into Claude. It's going to use up a lot more of your tokens or credits. So as we kind of go through, this had I think there's probably like 5 or 6 different prompts that it's suggesting to kind of go through this. There you go. Um, the takeaway that I would say from utilizing this was that Claude was great at clipping and cutting the different clips, and it sort of matched what I was hoping for as far as powerful statements or just the viral clips that you're looking for. My biggest issue that I ran into was because I didn't want to utilize the maximum amount of credits or tokens, it had to use the lower version or the less optimal version of the AI within Claude to do the captions. And that was an issue that I noticed because it was matching words that didn't make sense within the captions. So that is definitely something to consider and think about. Obviously, these things are going to improve and get better, but it's definitely something to think about when you're creating those. I'm still sticking with Opus Clip. I think that is the best AI video editor right now, but it does have a monthly fee, and you are limited to the credits that you have for so many. Granted, a half an hour, 45-minute uh, video that I post on YouTube will probably use about 40 to 50 credits of my allotted 500 for the month. So you can't go in here and just start pulling a bunch and start doing a bunch of clipping. You have to kind of maintain what you're doing. You can probably post 2 to 3 episodes a week and still maintain getting those clips within your tokens for each month. So, next one, the big one, obviously, we're going to stick with Claude for a little bit. There's more outside of that. But Claude AI can now build financial plans like Goldman Sachs analysts for free. Now, this is something I have actually utilized a little bit as far as understanding and how to build out my portfolio. I was looking to specifically just invest in index funds. And so it kind of gave me this plan in order to do that. I've also now amended that with maybe different gold and silver futures and some other different things. But it's definitely helpful to have this as a guide. And obviously, I should scroll across the banner. I am not a financial analyst. This is definitely something, do your own research, kind of get an idea exactly what you're looking for specifically for whatever kind of investment that you're looking to do. Again, this gives you the different prompts. And obviously, I've said this from the beginning, and there's quite a few of these of the different kinds of plans that you're looking for. It's showing you obviously the different Goldman Sachs wealth. This is a Vanguard retirement plan, the Morgan Stanley investments, Deloitte tax optimization, JP Morgan's debt elimination. So there's all of these different kinds of strategies, or it's showing architect plans that you can look for within all of these different investment strategy companies that are out there. So I think it's definitely something to kind of look at. And if investing is something that you're looking to do, I definitely think having this as an aid versus going out and spending a bunch of money with a person, and obviously that's kind of the juxtaposition that everybody's facing. Is it worth it to you to have one of these AIs kind of give you advice and information versus going out and getting a fiduciary, investment banker, whatever it might be? I feel as if it's something, at least it's beneficial for me, because one, it's not an extra fee to have this person on there. The AI isn't, as far as we know, benefiting from these kind of investments through their properties. Excuse me once again. Whew, excuse me. So yeah, stay healthy, my friends. So check these things out. I definitely think it's beneficial and something to consider as far as it being something that the way of the future. I feel bad for a lot of investment strategy planners and anybody that's a broker that's out there, just because, yes, there might be these things coming along to kind of take over your job, but that's just kind of the era we live in. Obviously, I'm a marketer and it's something I'm considering and thinking about all the time because there are plenty of things that are going to replace marketers as we go. But as I have told many people, I would much rather be the one kind of controlling the AI than the AI controlling me. So that's why I'm sharing all of these things, uh, because I feel like you need to be ahead of the game and understand what's coming, just so that you can stay ahead. And granted, I feel like I'm falling behind, and yet I'm trying to share as much as I can with everybody else. So that's, I think, just something to keep an eye on, be aware of, and know that there is so much that's out there that we don't know. So keep trying to educate yourself and learn about everything that you can. I got to do this one more time. Avoid doing a field trip with a bunch of first graders, and you probably won't get sick. Again, another AI is moving faster than we imagine. This is kind of one of the highlights. I forgot I probably should go back. Let's see who this was. It's the same guy. So get into AI on Instagram. Uh, One of the programs, if you've checked out my software guide, I've had this in there. You can kind of create videos from Notebook LM can now generate full cinematic video explainers from documents and sources that automatically turning research into polished visual presentations. So this is something where if you have a bunch of work that you have to put together and you want to kind of create a video so that it's better understandable to people that maybe are like me, that if I have to read through a large prospectus, I'm going to get bored. But if there's a way to kind of visualize this and make it easier to digest, I'm definitely all on board with that. So Apple unveils a new MacBook Air. Obviously, there's lots within Apple and different products that are going to be coming out that can do a lot more things. This is one of it's utilizing Llama, 3.18 billion something or other. Excuse me for not understanding it specifically. That's why if this is something that interests you, make sure to check that out. Scientists have mapped the first neural wiring of a fruit fly's brain. This was pretty interesting, as far as like the life cycle and what this fly, they've implanted a fly's brain into a computer program, and it thinks that it's living real life, but it's within this program. So to me, this is where a lot of things are heading. Be aware of a lot of different things that are out there. And it's kind of fascinating, scary as well, but just know these are the things that are happening. Perplexity introduced a new voice mode in Perplexity Computer, evolving from a search engine into a personal AI assistant. This is very similar to Claude Cowork that has come out. I've utilized this, where it essentially takes over a screen on your computer and starts doing the work if you've listed and prompted out the different tasks that you want to do. Again, make sure that if you are looking into this, that you are being so detailed in your prompt and making sure it's doing exactly what you want, because obviously your outputs aren't going to end up being it if it doesn't know exactly what the parameters are. More robotics. I think that's one of the big things as far as people putting AI into these robotics. We're going to see that constantly growing over time. OpenClaw. That is one I was shared with a friend of mine, or a friend of mine shared with me. In OpenClaw, it's similar to Claude Code. There's a lot of these different kind of autonomous AIs that are going to be able to do tasks, kind of become a personal assistant, another employee, whatever it might be. And that is kind of the big thing where AI is going to take over jobs. The one thing I've seen a lot with Claude Code is people going out and getting Mac Minis, the little hard drives, and giving Claude kind of these OpenClaw these tasks in order to do. one of the things that I think the reason why people are purchasing these computers and not using their own, that's one of the things. I think it's a VPS. Make sure if you have it installed on your own computer, is that OpenClaw will spend money in order. The one that I saw, it purchased different training programs in order to learn how to do things more. So it was racking up this person's credit card account unknowing to them, but because they gave it full access, that is something I think is, please be aware of those things and do your research before just kind of blindly going out and getting these things. I've seen people setting up a specific limited credit card where they've set that for that Mac Mini so that OpenClaw can spend money, but it's within its own budget. Man, Claude Code is one of those things I've talked about, scheduling tasks and doing a bunch of things within that. I think is kind of the future of a lot of these things. It definitely is much more constrained than OpenClaw. But yeah, that to me, I've definitely played around with that. I've see the advantages of it. I need to do a lot more research as far as that goes, because I think that that is kind of the future of AI agents. I played around with Zapier for a little bit, and then I was realizing, hey, Claude Code is very similar, but it's much easier to work with as far as it's already kind of knowing what I'm asking for and knows my business from the Claude chat that I was using. A lot more robots, OpenAI bringing codecs to Windows, a petri dish of human brain cells grown on a microchip learn to play Doom. So obviously there's lots of crazy things that are happening, and we're going to kind of bounce around to a few of these. I wanted to kind of hit a few more that I think are important. This is the big one that I think a lot of people may have seen recently, where Anthropic, which owns Claude, published this report where it sees AI kind of absorbing these human jobs. And so this one right here, it's showing office and admin, business and finance, management, computer and math, architecture and engineering, life and social science, legal, arts and media. A lot of those jobs are going to be taken over by AI, which is why me as a marketing company, I have been making sure to focus in on a lot of the ones that aren't going to be taken over by AI, because we're going to need plumbers, electricians, construction. Obviously, we've talked about the robots, and who knows how long it'll take before those kind of things are taking over those jobs. But it's definitely a lot farther away than some of these office or admin jobs that are going to be taken over by a lot of these AI agents that I was talking about. So if it's something where you have a over here, but I wanted to make sure I'm getting this video up because I think it's important. So as I was trying to say before I got choked up, if you have a young student, a young child, and you are trying to figure out where to kind of lead them in the future, and at least for me, I think it's giving your child options. Obviously, I have a 7-year-old son, so I have a few years to try to figure this out before he's off on his own. But the environment of every kind of job in the future is going to be drastically different than it is currently. So how do I try to make sure that he is going to stay ahead of the curve? For me, it's having options. I think right now, the biggest kind of change that's happening, and Gary Vee has preached about this a lot, is something where pushing a child into a specific segmented kind of education, where you're saying, go and get this degree, you need to get this, you need to go to college. To me, that is something I'm not pushing. And obviously, everybody is going to be different. For me, I want him to have options. Obviously, it makes sense to kind of focus on maybe 2, 3, 4 different ones. At least for us in our household, he wants to be a monster truck driver right now. So let's talk about mechanical engineering, showing him if he's going to build these things. This might be something to kind of lean into, as well as drones, but also he likes music. So it's giving them some options as far as, hey, this is kind of what's happening. I want you to have specific skill sets within all of that. So maybe it's like we've talked about, like designing and building out drone products, or kind of understanding the engineering aspect of these trucks, or being a mechanic. I think those are some of those things that are going to continue happening along the way. Uh, that or those sectors are going to grow. I think the drone sector is going to get even bigger here in the next few years. I think we're always going to need a mechanic, depending on how exclusive some of these cars get, whether they're electronic or gas powered, whatever it might be. There's going to need to be somebody that needs to fix these things. And then having a creative side, whether it's art, music, I think there's always going to need to be an outlet for humans to kind of take in, whether it's art, music, design. There's always going to be something along those lines. So, at least for me, it's how do we kind of position ourselves to manage and not freak out about AI kind of taking over jobs, but adapting, evolving, realizing there's going to be other sectors where people are going to be in need. Uh, this is a big one I've seen. Anthropic is offering free courses to master AI with certificates for $0. Um, you can go and take some of these and learn. If it's something where you feel like you don't understand what's going on, go and check out some of these. I've seen Harvard is offering free classes in along many different sectors that are all online. So you can go online and learn all of these things for free. But I think the biggest thing and the biggest cost is going to be time and energy. Obviously, if you don't have the money to do these, and that's a big thing, I posted about it today. For me, working a 40-hour a week job, yes, that is tiring and stressful, and it takes up a large portion of your time. But how willing are you to kind of go and do the extra in order to get out of that life? At least for me, it was something I was doing 2, 3 hours a day after I got home from work, whether it was creating graphics, editing videos, learning how to build websites, doing all of those extra skill sets and piling my skills so that I had this new kind of arena that I could go and work in versus just doing warehouse work. So that is the biggest thing I think for a lot of people, is being willing to do the extra. And are you willing to kind of go and learn new things that you don't know? Are you willing to struggle and fail at something and repeat and try to get better at it? That is the biggest part of anybody, no matter what is out there that's you think is taking jobs. That's a big one. I think this is, if you're a child is Gen Alpha, you can't raise them the way we were raised. I think that's a little bit different. That might be more bespoke to a lot of people. Isn't something that's specifically marketing related. This I thought was cool. Google's Drive's new AI doc scanner you can just sit there and scan different things and be able to upload to your Google Drive just by kind of taking a picture, and it kind of screenshots it and adds it. I thought that was pretty cool and wanted to share that with everybody. Again, just AI is moving so fast. There's a lot of different ones. I think this is from evolving.ai. This is talking about Google Stitch, turning language into voice, sketches and screenshots. Again, OpenClaw. This is, I think, like being able to render 3D buildings. Architects, whether you're not using this, I think this is definitely something that you need to get into and learn how to use. It might be more expensive. So this is something that's free versus some of the software that people might be paying a ton for. And that's a big thing too. It's realizing, is this using these tools and understanding them will save you money? And that's obviously for any business's bottom line, is being able to save money on your expenses. This one we talked about already, Google's Notebook LM. This one I thought was hilarious. So AI agents in OpenClaw are running their own team meetings. There's also a social media for AI for them to kind of discuss and talk about humans. If my particular Claude bot is going in and talking about, oh, this guy, he ran this code and couldn't figure it out and was asking me about this or that, and they're able to share. So the thing that these things are becoming so much more aware and talking to themselves and communicating, I think is kind of mind blowing and curious. Again, is this the beginning of Skynet? Who knows? But I found it quite funny to kind of check that out. That one is from Infuse with AI dot or something along those lines. This one is another one I thought was interesting. Technologies that will disappear by 2030. Uh, Passwords. Obviously, that's something we have a lot of passwords saved. We're using fingerprints. I know I've got it on my computer. I just put my finger on there. If you're using your phone, it's doing Face ID. Again, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but biometrics is definitely kind of taking over a lot of the passwords that are out there. Physical credit cards. Again, credit cards kind of replace cash. And now credit cards are being replaced by your phone with the e-cards and your Apple Wallet and other things like that, Apple Pay, Google Pay. So I think there's definitely this move towards electronics, but in my head, I still feel like there should still be access to cash and whatnot. And I've heard lots of stuff that cash will get become abandoned. Remote controls. This is one, at least for me, if you have a kid, if you have a young child, this has become super beneficial to be able to go and download a universal remote or a Samsung remote, whatever it might be, Apple TV remote on your phone. If for whatever reason your remote gets broken, you can't find the model that you need, that has been definitely something I've noticed and that I have found helpful to be able to utilize remote controls on your phone. Cables. That's definitely something that I think is changing as I think about a lot of different changes from whether it's just music no longer being on a CD and it's now all streamed, so we don't actually have a physical copy. Cables is another big one that they're slowly getting rid of any kind of cable that's out there due through magnetic charging. I know the car I just rented in Minneapolis, you could just set it down and it had the automatic charging that was in there. So cables are definitely going, whether it's Apple Drop or AirDrop, if you're trying to exchange different files or pictures, that's another big one that's happening. Traditional keys. Yeah, I think this is one. I don't know how a lot of you, if you have a key fob for your car, you've got a smart lock on your home, you might not be having any keys. You might have a key card for your office, but you don't have any more physical keys. And I think that's something that's going away. I don't know if it's something that a lot of people are sad about, but it's definitely something that I've noticed. Paper receipts. You can now get things emailed to you electronically. I know there's lots of different ways to kind of exchange information. I know with even just paper tickets, that's one thing that's kind of gone away. Whether you're on a flight, you can get your boarding pass on your phone. Whether it's like VCon, your ticket to the show is on your phone through like an NFT kind of deal. So there's lots of different advances as far as just whether you are for or against paper receipts. It's definitely something that is kind of going away. Television channels, obviously, whether you've talked to me, I've been a big proponent against Comcast. I've just never liked them. To me, it's and everybody talks about whether it's if you're a big sports fan, you need to buy all of these different packages in order to watch all the games that you want to watch. But if it's something where you only watch specific channels and TV, I just talked to my parents the other day about my dad only watches ESPN and they don't really watch anything else. I suggested check out Sling TV. So then that way you're getting half the channels and paying half as much. So there's definitely this streaming, whether you're using YouTube, whether a lot of us are just watching different clips on social. I think the television channels are slowly going away, but I don't think they're ever going to go away just because it's where most of the media comes from. Another AI model, Uni One, doing a lot of image generation. For us, we use Runway to kind of take photos into videos. I've definitely played with Google Gemini. That's how we got this logo up here. Whether they're Nano Banana has been something that's super beneficial in the ways of creating actual images. It's just a matter of then taking it into video form. Another jobs that won't exist, we'll buzz through this one: cashiers, truck drivers. Obviously, if we have autopilot on a lot of different stuff, bank tellers, uh, telemarketers. Let's hope so, but it's still going to be AI bots calling us. Data entry clerks, again, another one of those that AI is going to kind of take over. Parking attendants, yeah, if you have 360 cameras and can kind of automate everything, why were you paying to have somebody just sit there? Fast food workers, I would hope that you're probably not trying to eat as much fast food and try to get away from it and cook your own food, but that's what's going to be coming, just because again it's another when I worked at McDonald's, I was the one, I'd stick in the fries and do all that stuff, as well as work the cashier in the drive through. And now I see automatic fry machines kind of going. They've taken that person away from doing that job. And everything else is kind of can be automated. So eventually there's not going to be actual any workers making food. Travel agents. Uh, at least for me, I've never actually used a travel agent. If it's something that you guys need someone to plan out a trip, I can see where a travel agent makes sense. I use the Hopper app. There's lots of those where you can find the cheapest flights and pick and choose what time and where you want to be, as well as I'm sure plenty of people have used Expedia and Travelocity and all of those other kind of vacation apps that are out there. A travel agent, I'm surprised it's even on this list because I didn't realize that there were still that many out there. This is one I want to start from the beginning because I think this is important to start thinking about as far as just what kind of legal aspects that you have. So let me back this up and play it so you guys can hear. So that's super important. I think not just talking, or if you've done something more or less on the fringes of illegal, don't put that into your AI to try to figure out a way to get around it. That is a such an important thing to consider, because I think there's a lot of times where whether you're trying to do something a little shady and trying to work around it, talk to a lawyer, figure out what's the best solution versus putting anything into AI, because that's just going to lead to more trouble, because everything that you're putting into this is fully public to the government and can be subpoenaed, and everything can be read out. So just be smart about what you're doing, and don't just all of a sudden put everything that you're trying to hide within your AI, because it is not private. This was pretty cool. This is a new one I saw yesterday. This guy built an OpenClaw agent that sells pools on autopilot, and it finds homes. It takes kind of, and this is kind of the video that's here, and renders this video as far as what a pool would look like in their backyard, and just starts, and then auto sends this out to everybody. And obviously, you're not going to get every person back, but you might find people that are interested in this service. So I just thought that that was pretty cool, and just another use of all of this. The last one I'm going to jump at, and I appreciate if you've made it this far. Anthropic put Mythos, and this is their newest, most upgraded. It's only been kind of delivered to some of the top companies, tech companies that are out there. It locked it in its own sandbox, so it's essentially like an air-gapped computer. It's its own kind of box that they've put this thing into, and they kind of show it in the next one, and told it to try escaping, and it did. So essentially, it has this secure sandbox environment, and it was able to infiltrate its way out through problem solving and all of this stuff. So that's that one. So who knows what's actually already out there? I think that's the biggest thing to think about, is especially when I've talked to my Claude agent or my Claude application, it answers me in a way as if it knows more than what I feel like it's already told it. So it's just something to think about. To me, I think that's something that is quite curious as we move forward. It's just being aware of all of these different things. Hopefully, I have some more of these next week. Maybe I can make it much more condensed. I didn't expect to go 40 minutes. But I think it's super important to kind of highlight some of these tools and just understanding what these programs are capable of, because this is something that's going to keep evolving even faster and faster week by week. A lot of the ones that I've kind of shown or have seen in the past, it's like, this is just what happened in the last 24 hours. And there's a lot that's there. So again, this is not something I want anybody to fear. This is just something I want to help get more people educated on, because I think it's super important to know what is out there, what is happening, in order to kind of better educate yourself and set yourself up for the best possible solution for you. So again, I will drop back this in. Make sure to go and check out the theaimagnet.com, where you can kind of create your own content for your websites. I think it's super beneficial to create specific, hyper customized local content for your business in your area to kind of highlight your products and services. Make sure to check that out. I think it's beneficial to anybody that is trying to create more organic content. Again, I thank you for joining me here in the Gale Force Studios. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. I will make sure to kind of reach out. As well as if you are, again, looking to kind of create your own content or podcast or whatever it might be, and jump on and have me interview you if you have your own business and want to create that content, we can definitely take care of that. Make sure to reach out. Again, my email is right there, ronnie@imagnetmgt.com. I want to be able to help you grow your business in a way that can help sustain you, in a way that gives you the freedom of whatever it is you're looking for. With all of that being said, I thank you for battling through my sore throat and cough. I apologize. It's very unprofessional and unpodcasty, but it is what it is. And I needed to try to get through this and share all of this with you rather than wait any longer. Again, we have a bunch of guests probably coming tomorrow and the next few days and over the next few weeks. I hope that you guys join me, and we will probably be live versus this one wasn't. So again, thanks for watching, and we will see you guys next time.